Welcome back to our third video in the Meeting Tanares Adventures video series. This video focuses on villain cards, villain attacks, favorite target types, and villain behavior. Tanares Adventures villain cards. Most villains now have their own card that gives specific information about these evildoers. Overlords and bosses will still be shown in the quest book, as their abilities are unique to specific quests. This new approach makes reuse of some villains between quests without needing to get a different villain card. To clarify, the villain cards from Arena the Contest will no longer be used in Tanares Adventures. Looking over villain cards, they show the name, art, and the corresponding miniature. Next, you will notice that the villains have levels. This will change as you go through the campaign. Villains can be level 1, 2, 3, or even 4 depending on the quest. As villains level up, they gain more hit points, defense, damage, and can gain new effects or passive power triggers. Looking at villains' stats, you may notice that all villains share the same stats, except for the hit points and defense stats. Villains have reaction attacks that will work like heroes, except they will always do 8 damage. To the bottom left, you will see a villain card number. This will be used when setting up a quest. Villain attacks. Villain attacks have a name, range, hit damage, effect, miss damage, and critical hit. The miss damage will increase with level, and it does residual damage, which means that damage is non-lethal. Critical hit and unprovoked attacks will always do plus 5 damage. Dark Surge and unprovoked attacks will be discussed in the next video. At the bottom of the right of the card, you will notice a villain's passive power. These work in a similar way to heroes having a trigger that needs to be met before the effect of the passive power can be unleashed. For example, the Goblin villain has Flanked, which is triggered by another villain in range 2 of the target he is attacking, and his effect is he will deal 5 additional damage to the target. There are 8 total different triggers, each represented by an icon. Favorite target types and villain behavior. No longer will villains choose their target based on evil power cards. Instead, they will have a favorite target they will try to attack. At the top right of the card, you will notice varying symbols. These are shorthand notation for a villain's favorite target. A villain's favorite target is determined by his type. There are 4 types of favorites, each represented by a color. Red, violent. These villains attack the hero with the highest hit points and will do more damage than any other type. Also, they often reposition heroes. Blue, mystic. These villains attack the most distant hero within reach. They have a greater range on their attacks and can do AoE effects. Green, guardian. These villains attack the hero with the most mana cubes. They have the lowest damage, but can provide powerful healing or other beneficial effects for their allies. Orange, noxious. These villains attack the hero with the fewest hit points. They will also apply negative conditions to the heroes. If there is a tie in which target to pick, the villain will attack the closest target. Otherwise, if a tie still persists, then players will choose which tied target the villain will attack. The blue mystics will always use player's choice if there is a tie. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this brief intro to villain cards. The next video will discuss additional villain behavior, turn order, new conditions, effects, and more. We'll see you at the next one.